The following is an excerpt from one of my post-production classes in which we are talking about a mixing template and the possible use of processors like EQ to treat the sound. What can you tell me about this EQ? What do you see first and foremost?
Low pass, high pass.
Right, the low pass and the high pass filters are active. And what are they set at?
What is that? 61 and 12K.
Yeah, so 61 hertz and 12K. Think about dialogue, especially the kind of dialogue you would capture on the set. What would be below 61 hertz? Rumble, what else?
Air conditioner. Noise.
Noise, what kind of noise? Air conditioner?
Trucks passing by.
Trucks maybe? Maybe. Rumble noise. Let's say that your electrician wasn't that great, some 60 cycle hum. So anything below 61 hertz, we're just going to roll off because we don't think in a dialogue situation that's really going to be applicable. If you think in terms of dialogue frequency, EQ, the frequency of interest for speech is really 2, 3K. So at 12K and above, there's really not much going on above there that we would probably want. So instantly, we'll roll off all the low end below 60 hertz and all the high end above 12K. Now, if you look at the rest of the EQ, you have these frequencies of interest that are already dialed in. You have 100 hertz, 170 hertz, 450, 2K, 3K. But if you look at the gain structure, none of these frequencies are being boosted or cut. So in other words, again, just like the compressor and the de-esser, this EQ is set up with frequencies of interest that you might use for low-end treatment, mid-range treatment, high-end treatment, but none of them are engaged. Again, every actor, every actress's performance will be different, but this will put you in the ballpark of most EQ situations.
What are they based on, like male voice, female voice, room?
Maybe, yeah, or like for example, like low-end, like maybe extra rumble from a truck. 170, 180, that's kind of like a low-mid frequency that you might want to just dial out. Maybe the room of 400 to 500 hertz. Dialogue intelligibility at 2K and 3K, that's something you might want to boost. Little hint about using EQ with dialogue. One thing that I've found is that dialogue that is treated the least sounds the best. One of the things that we're really trying to do in post-production, especially mixing dialogue, music, and effects, is we're really going for transparency. It's not like when you're mixing a record. A lot of times when you're making a record or music, you're trying to make the guitar sound like a piano or the piano sound like a guitar. You're trying to do something different to the instrument to make it unique and interesting. Where when you're mixing dialogue, music, and effects, if we see, a female actress speaking, we want to make sure that that dialogue sounds like a female actress speaking. So those are things that you want to take into consideration. So when you're using EQ, what you might want to do is when you're applying EQ, you want to, again, follow your instincts. As you're listening to the actor or the actress on set in that scene, listen to it. If your instinct is that, oh, it's a little boomy or it's a little muddy, then you would want to apply some sort of EQ treatment to it. Another kind of tip from my experience is that EQ usually sounds best, or is usually the most effective, rather, when you cut it as opposed to boosting it. So if you hear something and your instinct is that, oh, it sounds kind of muddy, one thing you could do is find, a frequency of intelligibility, would be like 2K, 3K and boost it. But another approach would be to then go down to that low-end, muddy range that you don't like, find out what that frequency is, and then cut it. And you might find that by cutting the low-end frequency that you don't like as opposed to boosting intelligibility frequencies that you do like might make for a more transparent dialogue track. In this presentation, the students recognized the use of sound treatment through interaction and discussion with an awareness of the importance of maintaining transparency of the sound to achieve a more cohesive dialogue track. In this application of critical pedagogy, we utilize discussion and analysis as an effective use of dialogue between the students and the teacher. The students gain a sense of empowerment when this interaction is directed toward a critical examination of their experiences and is beneficial when exploring new ground.